1 rupee. What comes to your mind when you hear that? 1 rupee. A sleek steel coin with the Ashok Chakra on a side and the numerical 1 flanked by wheat corns on the other? A soiled note that brings back memories of a healthy piggy bank balance when you were in school? The humble rupee with which we are familiar with has had many faces before India gained independence 59 years ago. Actually, the history of the Indian coin dates back to the 6th century BC. India has been one of the earliest issuers of coins in the world, but those were silver coins. However, the paper rupee came into existence somewhere only during the 1770s. Among the earliest issues of paper rupees were those by the Bank of Hindustan, the General Bank of Bengal and Bihar, which were established by Lord Warren Hastings, and the Bengal Bank. The Paper Currency Act of 1861 gave the government the monopoly of note issue throughout the vast expanse of India, which was a considerable task. Eventually, the management of paper currency was entrusted to the mint masters, the accountant generals, and the controller of currency. The first set of British India notes were the Victoria Portrait series, issued in denominations of 10, 20, 50, 100 and 1000. These were unifaced, carried 2 language panels and were printed on hand-molded paper manufactured at the Laverstock paper mills. The security features incorporated the watermark, the printed signature and the registration of the notes. British India notes facilitated interspatial transfer of funds. As a security precaution, notes were cut in half. One set was sent by post. On confirmation of receipt, the other half was dispatched by post. These half-note series remained largely unchanged till the introduction of the King's Portrait series, which commenced in 1923. Then came the unifaced underprint series. This series was introduced in 1867 as the Victoria Portrait series was withdrawn in the wake of a spate of forgeries. Then the era of small denomination notes. Compulsions of the First World War led to the introduction of paper currency of small denominations. Rupee 1 or the 1 rupee was introduced on 30th November 1917, followed by the exotic rupees 2 and Annas 8. The issuance of these notes was discontinued on 1st January 1926 on cost-benefit considerations. These notes first carried the portrait of King George V and were the precursors of the King's Portrait series, which were to follow. Regular issues of King's Portrait series carrying the portrait of George V were introduced in May 1923 on a 10 rupee note. The King's Portrait motif continued as an integral feature of all paper money issues of British India. The Government of India continued to issue currency notes till 1935, when the Reserve Bank of India took over the functions of the controller of currency after being inaugurated on Monday, April 1st, 1935, with its central office at Calcutta. Section 22 of the RBI Act 1934 empowered it to continue issuing Government of India notes till its own notes were ready for issue. The bank issued the first 5 rupee note bearing the portrait of George VI in 1938. This was followed by rupees 10 in February, rupees 100 in March, and rupees 1000 and rupees 10,000 in June 1938. In August 1940, the 1 rupee note was reintroduced, once again as a wartime measure, as a government note with the status of a rupee coin. But during the war, the Japanese produced high-quality forgeries of the Indian currency. This necessitated a change in the watermark. The profile portrait of George VI was changed to his full frontal portrait. The George VI series continued till 1947 and thereafter as a frozen series till 1950, when post-independence notes were issued. After the independence of India, the government brought out the new design rupee 1 note in 1949. Initially, it was felt that the king's portrait be replaced by a portrait of Mahatma Gandhi. Finally, however, the lion capital of Ashoka was chosen, and thus the Indian rupee with which we are all familiar with was born.